How we doing, guys?
Al, have you gotten in a lot of what you wanted to get in before OTA started? Has it gone the way you wanted it to go for the most part?
Yeah, just the guys have exceeded expectations in terms of their preparation, and the staff has done a great job delivering the message and getting it taught. So just goal line and end of game stuff is all that's left for training camp. So that's a pretty remarkable job by everybody. And I love the attitude of the players to attack that the way they did.
With Shemar, obviously he's been in meetings and Zach's talked about his attentiveness. How is it with him not being able to take physical reps? How will that slow maybe his development?
Yeah, again, that's not really our concern. Our concern is teaching him, making sure he's learning, he's engaged, he's on time, he's had a great attitude in the meetings. That's all we can control right now. I think it's a lesson for him in the NFL to control what you can control. And from our standpoint, he's done a good job in terms of the learning. We're as excited as anybody to get him out there.
Is that the only way you can approach it?
That's it. That's the only way. Again, I've been around long enough to know these things. Sometimes they take some time, or they're more complicated than they are on their face. And we're hopeful to get this resolved in the next 5-6 weeks and get him out there. And really looking forward. I love the young man. He's had a great attitude. He learns really well. He's attentive. He asks good questions. So from that standpoint, he's doing everything we're asking.
I know with Trey, it's a little bit of a different situation because he's had so many years in the league that he might not need as much practice time. But from the standpoint of what you're trying to implement that might be new from a pass rushing standpoint, how much are they missing out on not being able to be on the practice field? And speaking on those two specific.
Yeah, I think they're two different cases. Obviously, Trey brings a developed skill set already to the pass game. In a lot of ways, we have to cultivate the defense around that, and we will. I'm confident, obviously, in Trey's intellect, his approach as a pro, that he'll get caught up, in those 47 days before the opener. So, I'm confident of that. So, just looking forward to seeing him again and coaching him.
How much is affected by the defensive line right now between Trey, Shemar, and BJ not practicing right now? How much does that affect what you guys are trying to do?
It affects us in a positive way, as ironic as that is, because you're already preparing for that injury when it exposes itself during the year. You force guys into playing multiple positions, what we call, basically just horizontal depth, ends playing tackle, tackles playing end, some linebackers playing on the edge, those type of things. So I think from that standpoint, we always see the good in it and the opportunity. And I'm being serious on that. Some guys have really taken advantage of their reps and their opportunity. And obviously, I think we'll be more formidable when those guys come back.
Who has stood out in that perspective? You said some guys have really taken advantage. Who has stood out?
Well, man, Joseph Osai's had a great camp. Cam Sample, coming off the Achilles, has overachieved to this point, only because I didn't expect that type of athleticism to spring back as quickly. So that's been great. I think Chris Jenkins has really done a great job. He's had an awesome attitude all camp. And I'm sure I'm leaving some guys out, but at the end of the day, Cedric Johnson's another one that has really seized that opportunity. So, from that standpoint, we're all pros here. We're all trying to get to the end game. And from that standpoint, we're coaching the guys that are here. We miss the guys that aren't here, but we have to move forward. And that's, in a lot of ways, that's kind of emblematic of what happens during the year. So guys are going to have to step up.
Obviously, you're doing some things differently.
I'm sorry.
Al, obviously, you're doing some things differently. What indicates to you, both in the film room, classroom, and on the field, that they're picking up the different things you're trying to instill?
Yeah, I think the details, the communication. Again, I'm not looking for it to be perfect right now because it's really been a heavy lift in terms of having an install every day. In training camp, we'll have an install and then maybe 2 days in between, or some walkthroughs at night, or the walkthrough will precede the install. So I'm not worried so much about it being perfect, but I am excited about, A, the communication, and then B, that I don't see the same mistake twice, which has been awesome, and that's a credit to the coaches as well.
I'm sorry. What have you seen from tonight? Have you seen the former quarterback? Have you seen that kind of?
Yeah, just consistent energy. I love his approach to the game. He makes everybody around him better. He's a live wire. just enjoys the game, you know. And again, like he's got a grateful heart. You know, that's how I look at it. Like he's really overcome a lot. He's not had everything come easy to him, and from that standpoint, he's grateful. He's grateful for the opportunity. We've made him play a bunch of different spots. He's long enough to play the edge. He's obviously strong and sudden enough to blitz. So I couldn't be more happier with us acquiring him.
Looking at the secondary, what have you learned kind of the strengths of that unit, looking at the personnel?
Again, I think Fig is a guy that has benefited from this time. And again, not just at nickel, but his ability to play multiple positions. I think Chuck and Jordan do an unbelievable job with those guys in terms of building the depth for the season. Again, in our business, it's like the tyranny of comfort, right? Like, so it's comfortable for a coach to keep a guy at nickel or keep a guy at corner. These guys are just the opposite, Jordan and Chuck. They make the guys play a bunch of different spots, so that when that comes, when that occurs during the season, it's second nature for the guys to play a different spot. So we've been moving guys around, and they're a fun group to coach. Their football intelligence, their energy, both in the classroom and on the field. And I'm just really excited about them as a group.
Al, could you foresee adding a veteran safety, or are you pretty good with where the safety room is?
Yeah, again, we have a great personnel department. We relied on them heavily for the 3 picks that we had on defense. We hit on all of them. And I feel like they do it way better than we do it in terms of the marriage between needs and, things that are open right now. And then also, looking at it, from the standpoint of a cap. So if there's opportunities to make our team better, I know they're going to do that. They did that when I was here last time. And I really think whether it was waivers with Joe Bocci last time I was here, or we went out and got Clay Johnston and Keandre Jones and all those guys that played linebacker, that ended up being a really good group because of what they did upstairs.
Are you moving those corners around to cross-train them, or can you do that in the season?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see where it goes. It's a little bit early for that, but I think, they show again, it's one thing to be smart and it's one thing to love football. But to love the approach and the process the way they do, that's what's been awesome every day. And that's what motivates us as coaches to be better every day. So I think those guys' approaches, like, give me more, let me do more things, let me play corner, let me play safety, let me play nickel, let me play dime. And so they're telling us by their actions that they can receive the information, digest it from multiple positions, and obviously ultimately that's going to make us better.
You've obviously seen the training camp practices in the afternoon. You've experienced that. Morning this year is different. What went into that from your perspective, and do you think it's going to have an impact?
No, Coach had a plan. At the end of last year, prior to my involvement at all, Coach had a plan for what he wanted it to look like, both in the off season and then preseason camp. And our job is to execute that plan and make it the best plan possible. And he gives us that form as coordinators and as a staff. So obviously we've contributed to that, but I think he's got a really, great plan in terms of how we want to approach training camp with ultimate goal of being starting fast.
What have you seen from Logan Wilson?
Again, I watched, when I got here, I watched last year. He was hobbled a little bit. I went back and watched last year's OTAs, and he looks nothing like either of those right now. He looks excellent. I think he's going to be 29 soon. So I think he's taking care of himself really well. He's been playing fast. I see an energy about him right now that's been really good, and the linebackers are feeding off that. So I'm excited about him, and I'm obviously grateful to be reunited with him.
When you look at all the work that y'all have done over the entire offseason, what's been the most encouraging thing that they showed this defense to be better than it was a year ago, in your opinion?
Just their attention to what we call the foundation, the core principles. So just whether it's tackling, ball disruption, being better at situations, or both the identification, recognition, and how we want to perform in situations. All of those things factor into the game, and I think they're on the details right now, whether it's tackling or ball disruption. It's not just that, Ben. It's that they're willing to go out 5 minutes early every day and work on it, and the effort that we're getting in the tackling periods has been awesome, although it's not, full pads yet or any of that, but they've really are buying into being brilliant in the basics. And we can call a million different things, you know, and a lot of times the players make you right. You know, you didn't have the right call, but Trey got a sack. But there is no substitute for, you know, the tackling, the ball disruption, you know, being great in situations. And so all those things are important to us.
None of the defensive captains from last season are on the roster this year. Who stepped up as a leader?
Well, again, BJ's been out, but there's no question he's a leader. He's been really, really good. So I'm excited about him. Cam Sample, you know, a little bit more on the quiet side, but has been a really, really good leader. Orrin Burks and Logan inside have done a great job. Fig at nickel has been really, really good. Jordan Battle. I'm you know, again, I'm sure I'm missing somebody. I hate answering that question in this forum because we've had a lot of guys that have stepped up. And again, the most important thing about leadership is understanding what, you know, the head coach and coordinator want, and making sure the message comes from the ground up, not from the top down. Again, we can provide the foundation, the values, the core principles, but if the buy-in doesn't come from the ground up, and right now we're getting that, and I know Zach is excited about that.
You mentioned the draft picks being hits.
Yep.
What have you seen from TJ Slayton? Obviously, he was your biggest free agent. this year.
Well, I just got done telling upstairs, just really excited about the way he's preparing every day. He's been in good shape. We're moving him around a little bit. He's able to do that. He's got, you know, really elite quickness for somebody that's 325, and I don't know, maybe I'm taking the over on that, but he's you know, he's just been great. He's been a leader. He's pulling guys aside during practice, and he's made us so much better and stronger inside, and he's just given us an opportunity to play a lot of different fronts with him.
A lot of the tackling drills that you're doing are very basic, fundamental things. Is that how you get better in this day and
No doubt.
age when there's only so much tackling?
No doubt. And again, what's important is the buy-in from the players, because here in Cincinnati, you have a head coach that protects the players over the long haul, most particularly in the season. So again, if you're not over-exaggerating your technique, if you're not attacking the ball, if you're not on the leverage hip, if you don't have the leverage foot up, on and on and on, technically, then you're not building great muscle memory. So not only are you not straining athletically and physically, but you're not building, you know, the right blueprint in your mind for how to do it. So that's the only thing that's going to hold up. So again, we're always talking about just over-exaggerate your technique and walk through, over-communicate, and then demonstrate that you can understand and execute your assignment. In this case, tackling.
Is there anything with Logan's game? Did you or him go back to 20 and 21 and maybe look at some of the things that maybe get back to this? Or
No, I think he's in a great spot. There really wasn't. I mean, he made it a commitment coming off the injury that he was going to come back better than ever, and he has. And he's been great. I'm in the headset now with him. So from that standpoint, there's a symbiosis there in terms of him understanding what I'm looking for and him executing it. So. No, I'm just excited the work that he's put in, and obviously I think he's going to benefit greatly from that.
You mentioned earlier the moving pieces in the secondary, Dax and his skill set. How intriguing is that for him?
Yeah, no, I'm excited about Dax. He knows that. I tell him all the time, can't wait to get him out there. Again, sitting in the front row, engaged, asking questions all the time, asking questions in practice, answering questions in the meeting. So. Again, he's made the most of his time, and he's really committed to doing everything he can do to be the best he can be. So, excited about him.
Miles Murphy, what have you kind of seen from him to this point, and what's your message to him about what you want to see take a next step for him in training camp?
I think it's time, right? It's time. Again, right now, I think Jerry does an unbelievable job with those guys technically. It should start to quiet down for him now, just in general. Pass rush move, pass rush counter, you know, run, you know, movement, run lockout, run disengagement. All those little things should quiet him down. And if we can get it to quiet, then let his athleticism take over. Again, he's got great range. He's got elite speed for the edge, and he's big. You know, he's 6'6", 270 pounds, and he gives us some flexibility. So I'm really excited about him. But it is time. He knows that it's time to go, and we're really counting on him. We really are.
Was that kind of your vision, was to simplify his process in pass rushing a little bit, or in terms of teaching it to get the finish out of him?
I think Jerry and Mike Moon have done a great job with him, just doing just that, you know, trying to keep it simple. And it's the same thing with, you know, how we take on a block, how we disengage from a block, how we want to tackle, all those things, just buzzwords, stimulus response, defense. Everybody play fast. And if we can do that, if we can achieve that here in the next, 8 weeks with him, 9 weeks, then we're going to have something.
What have the last 5 months been like for you? Obviously, it was probably you drinking from a fire hose, trying to get caught up when you first took the job.
Yep.
So now, I mean, I would assume this is probably the best part, seeing your vision come to life on the field.
Yeah, just grateful to be here. Love being a part of the Bengals organization. Love coming to work every day. The coaching staff that we have is awesome. They exceed expectations every day. And it's been hard. It's been really hard going from, you have to assess, your current roster, then transition to the draft, and then, get on the field. And there hasn't been many days off for us. We were joking this morning. I went from the longest season in the history of college football to straight work. So I am ready for a break, and I'm not afraid to say I'm going to take it.
When you were hired, Zach said he told you to take a day off. Wish you would have taken a
I
day
wish I
off.
would have listened. I wish I would have listened.
Where will you go?
A little bit earlier, coming from the college ranks and then, how NIL has changed things, how do you think it's maybe affected the pro readiness of players, given kind of all the NIL and the portal? How do you feel like that's prepared
Yeah.
guys, or how has that affected their readiness to be rookies?
Well, number one, I was really blessed to be at Notre Dame because, again, there's a commitment. There's a long-term commitment there. No one's immune to the NIL, but at least there we had guys that understood the value of trying to get a degree. We had multiple guys, maybe dozens of guys that were in postgraduate classes or getting postgraduate degrees. So from that standpoint, I didn't experience it to the degree that maybe you're talking about. But I did read somewhere recently where people are factoring that in to their decision making. If you're a 3-school guy or a 4-school guy, well, how are you going to put roots in here, and just dig in and fight through? I mean, again, we're trying to build a team for 21 games, so it is never pretty. And again, when I was here in 21, there was a lot of people saying, we got to change the staff, after we lost to Philly. I think it was Philly that year. I can't remember. At the bye anyway. But and then again, everybody stays together. We had great leadership from Zach. We got great leadership in the locker room. So all those things factor into what you're saying, Ben. Okay, guys. Yeah, thanks.